Perfect. I can see you guys perfectly. I'm gonna turn
I can
this.
talk about the Compass Pacific Union rollout thing because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
going to be big news when it really hits.
I'm gonna do this so that the audience doesn't see that. You guys can. I don't care if you guys see my emails, but I don't want the audience to see my emails. Okay, I can see Rick. I can see Patty, and I can even see
Like
me.
Romper Room, I see Rick.
Yeah.
I see Patty.
That's right. Okay.
Do you even remember Romper Room?
I do. I was a Romper Room person. I never went in for Mr. Rogers. It wasn't exciting enough for me.
No. I was on the show for Romper Room for my 5th birthday because I'm from back there. I thought I was 5 years old. I thought I was a movie star. I really did.
Absolutely. You were a movie star. Shoot. And then there was Miss Pat's Playroom, which I don't really know what that was about.
No.
Okay. All right. So we are live. So again, no swearing, Patty. I never have to remind her.
No.
Okay. How's the hearing level for everyone? Good. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And as you say, just a little bit further away from the mic.
Okay, how's that?
That's perfect. Okay. Then we'll go this. Okay. So if you guys are ready here, I will fill us in. Okay. All right. Our first segment is going to be 6 minutes and 10 seconds. And away we go. Well, welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and now my two co-hosts, Mark Hanf and Nam Phan of Pacific Private Money, are not here today, but we do have Patty Cohen of Pacific Union Realty. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. You're going to use that number to answer the trivia questions for a 5-pack tanning certificate given away during this show. That certificate is not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon, with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. And by the way, that is a certificate that is transferable. So you could win it on the show and then gift it to somebody. It's worth over $100 for someone at Christmas time. Don't tell anyone you regifted it, though. Today's trivia theme is general knowledge. Now, we actually do have a special guest in the studio with us, Rick Lewis of Gold Rush Jewelers. And since we are in the Christmas season, because Thanksgiving just happened a couple of days ago, we are going to talk a little bit about jewelry and diamonds and all that kind of fun stuff. And then obviously we'll talk to Patty about real estate. Rick, welcome to The Best of Investing.
Thank you for having me today.
You're very welcome. Okay, so tell the audience now, diamonds are best girl's best friend, that sort of thing. We're going to get into the Christmas season here pretty soon. Anything like you first recommend as generally a good jewelry buy for, let's say, your spouse. And typically it's going to be men buying for women. I always have a hard time because my wife has to pick things out. I cannot surprise her because it's never what she really wanted. Mm-hmm. You get that a lot?
Yes, you do. And there's such a variety of things you can get. Okay. Obviously, diamond earrings, which women love to wear every day.
Okay.
Pearls they can wear on special occasions.
All right.
And then obviously a diamond necklace.
Yeah, that's always good.
They love that because you can always accent with some colored stones for their birthstone or their kids, which they always enjoy.
Oh, that's good. See, there you go. Mm-hmm. That's right. You can find out what their birthstone is. You can always just look online and find out what the birthstone is.
Yes, you can.
Very good.
Google it.
So I have a question. If it's not custom, like so Edward was saying, he gets it wrong. So if it's not custom, can people just, like it's a good starting place and somebody can exchange or return?
We can always do that. And there's also things, if you had certain stones in it, we can take those stones out and replace it with other stones in there. Mm-hmm. So we can do that to make it flexible for you in that light. But if it wasn't the style of what you wanted, you can always exchange it and pick out whatever you want or custom make it to your exact specifications. That's the good thing in today's world.
Okay, so let me ask you, what happens when you as a jeweler, you see a piece that, let's say, is really old and it's valuable in its current condition, and then someone says, well, let's just break it apart and use diamonds over here. What do you ever recommend? You might be best to just sell it as it is and then take the money and make something?
It all depends. Sometimes you take it out, you're destroying the piece and the stones break, and you see a beautiful piece. You don't want to take it out. So you convince them, either I'll tell you what, I'll give you a trade-in value for that and get you more modern cut stones that'll sparkle more and use that same value. If you have a ring or a pendant that has, say, 10 stones in there, I'll give you the same 10 stones, but they'll be better than what you had.
See, that's a really good idea because, like in the old days, my parents had these diamonds, what they called miner's cut. And isn't that where they take the bottom, they basically cut it off?
Well, that's the cullet cut off, but it was cut by eye. So So the technology is not what it is today. They would hand cut it on a lathe. Today, everything's laser precision.
Yeah.
So they have all those angles cut so perfectly.
So when I told my wife, honey, it's our anniversary, I'm going to buy you the best zirconium money could buy. She didn't like that so much. I don't know why. I mean, you get this thing that looks perfect, but I know it's not exactly real.
Yeah.
Still not the sparkle of a diamond.
That's it. Exactly.
That's true.
And now I know that I learned a little bit about this because of shopping around, where you want to go ahead and tell me if this is correct. I'm going to throw an idea out here and tell me if it's right. Because diamonds, they vary so much in price. If you want to get something that is going to be, let's say, a diamond ring, where you're going to have the clasps on top. Losing my train of thought. What are the things that the things that clasp onto the
prongs?
Prongs. Thank you very much. That's the word I'm looking for. There we go. See, I was testing him to make sure he's a real jeweler. Okay. Generally, if you get something that's, let's say, what they call SI1, where there's an inclusion, a little black carbon you can actually see with your eye. If you get it where it's more on the corner, it's going to get hidden by that prong, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But you also like to have the prong, sometimes the inclusion a little bit visible under magnification only. So you always know that's your stone. People have this unfortunate fear their stone will get switched, even though it's so rare. You hear it one, in how many years that it sticks in your head. No reputable jeweler is playing that game.
Yeah.
But for people's peace of mind, if you know where that inclusion is, because every stone has like a fingerprint to it, it's different than another. So if you have that inclusion and you know where it is in that ring, that gives you, the consumer, peace of mind.
Gotcha. Okay, tell you what, we're going to cut to our first commercial break here. We're in the studio with Rick Lewis of Gold Rush Jewelers. Rick, before we go to break, quickly, how do people get a hold of you if they have questions about jewelry?
They can come into the store or downtown Santa Fe at 831 4th Street. Okay. They can call the store, 457-2101, and the 415 area code. Or they can email me at rick@goldrushjewelers.com.
I like having you have a very simple email.
Yeah.
All right, here's our first trivia question. Which of the four biblical scopels, I was thinking of disciples, gospels, whatever. Okay. Which of the four biblical gospels was written by an ex-tax collector? Call 888-912-1190 to answer that question. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back.
What was that question again?
Which of the four biblical gospels was written by an ex-tax collector? When I tell you, you go. What? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a good first segment.
Yeah.
Keep the audience interested there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to distill down some of all this stuff I have.
Notice how I said Thanksgiving was a couple of days ago?
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. I remember it was Saturday you're airing it.
We've done that a couple of times where we've kind of forgotten to say, oh yeah, by the way, we recorded this show. That's why it's hard to talk. It's like when I'm doing the stuff with Bruce, a lot of times we'll say, yeah, by now we'll have known, which two.
I know.
Which two basketball teams were in the finals or something like that, because we just tell them ahead of time it's recorded.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. That. Okay, that's our first file. So let's save. Let's do one number 2 here. I want to ask you about color of stones. Right, here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen and our special guest, Rick Lewis of Gold Rush Jewelers. Mark Conf and Nam Phan are off today. I'm going to try to fill in for Pacific Private Money with deals of the week and that sort of thing. Here was our first trivia question. Which of the four biblical gospels was written by an ex-tax collector? Anyone? Boy, I'll tell you, the Pope's going to be mad at you. No, I'm just kidding. Matthew. Remember Matthew, the tax collector? Okay. Anyway, that was our first trivia question.
I would have no idea.
No idea. Okay. Well, the other ones
here. Stumped.
Okay. The other ones are actually a little bit easier. Okay. So Rick Lewis from Gold Rush Jewelers. We're learning a little bit about diamonds, jewelry, and all that fun stuff. So I want to ask you about color of diamonds. They range anywhere. Is it D that's flawless or colorless?
D is considered perfect white.
Okay.
And it goes all the way down to like a Z color, actually, where it's got the yellow on there.
Okay. Now, yellow diamonds are different.
There are different kinds of yellow diamonds.
Okay.
Some come naturally out of the ground.
Yeah.
And sometimes when there's a little bit of yellow in it, they heat them. And that brings the yellow up to a more vibrant color of yellow.
Yeah, those are fairly expensive, aren't they? Those yellow diamonds?
The natural yellow, yes.
Natural yellow.
They could be
Okay.
2, 3, 4 times the price of a regular white diamond.
Well, yeah, I remember looking, looking at that one time.
And then pink diamonds, blue diamonds, red diamonds. Those pink diamonds, Elizabeth Taylor's famous blue diamond in the Smithsonian, millions.
Amazing. Good old De Beers.
Yeah.
That. So generally speaking, because I know there's sort of a, are you better off getting a smaller diamond, i.e. less carats, but a much better quality? There's kind of a weighing issue, right? I mean, generally you don't want, from a color standpoint, do you want to go past anything H or I?
It depends how the stone faces up, how it looks to the naked eye.
Okay.
There's a balance between the clarity and the color, and the other characteristic, how well it's cut. You can have a diamond that's D in color, but if it's not well proportioned, the diameter to the stone, to the depth, it's not going to sparkle.
Gotcha.
So it can be white, but no sparkle is not any good.
Good point. I mean, that's where a jeweler really has to kind of come in and tell you. I mean,
Yes.
some of the stuff you can see with the naked eye.
If you get to compare stone A to stone B, that's the
yeah.
benefit of buying it in person from any jeweler versus going on the internet shopping. You can't tell those characteristics until you see it.
Yeah, I'd be a little nervous buying a diamond on the internet.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of a break you'd even get, but
Yeah.
maybe you do. But then once you get it in your hand, then what do you do? Then do you go to a jeweler and then have it appraised?
A lot of people do,
Right.
but there's no standard appraisal value. What I may appraise it for versus the guy down the street, it's not like the housing market
Mm.
where there's comps and that stuff.
Or even baseball cards nowadays, they have the
Yeah.
PC whatever where you can actually send it out. Actually, diamonds have that, don't they? Where you can send it out.
You can send it out, but that's GIA does that.
Yeah.
But they don't put a price on it. They just tell you color,
Oh,
clarity,
gotcha.
how well it's cut.
Gotcha.
Yes.
That's
Right.
that's a good point.
So you have to trust your local jeweler that they're being fair.
Yeah, and then when the appraisal versus actually how much you can get for it are going to be
Very wildly different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's tough. And then I know there's different cuts. Like I've always liked princess cut because it's the largest plane, I guess.
Yeah.
Table.
Table. There you go. See all these great words.
I don't know either.
He just makes these words up. No, I'm just kidding. And then there was something else called Hearts of Fire.
All Hearts of Fire Diamond is a great marketing company. It's just an ideal cut diamond that's been branded.
Mm.
It comes with a GI cert, but there's nothing special about it except you're paying a premium for their name.
For their
That's what I
That's
think.
it.
See, there you go. I thought it was a specific
Nope.
princess. Because I looked at it and I go, I don't understand it. I mean, I still like a princess cut's better than a round. I mean, in my personal opinion.
It just means it's an ideal cut, which means the depth, the width of the stone,
Yeah.
the girdly edge of it to the center, which is the table,
Yeah.
are a certain proportion, which means how much light's coming through the stone.
Okay.
That's an ideal cut diamond. They sell all ideal cut diamonds,
Oh,
and they
okay.
brand them as such. But you can buy the same exact diamond
Yeah.
for considerably less. That's not branded. It's exactly the same.
Wow.
See,
No
now,
differences.
See, there we go. We
I'm
learned
learning a
something.
lot.
Yeah, no offense to the Hearts of Fire people, but hey, you got to call a spade, when you first see it, right?
That's right.
Very
We're talking
good.
big money.
Okay. Patty, do you have any specific questions for Rick?
No, but I can tell you, I've been going
You've
to
been there.
Gold Rush over the years. We've never met. It's not a plug, but the best jeweler in Marin, because you get a sense that they're really fair, really honest, and they'll do repairs, and they're just so fast and so inexpensive. It's the go-to place.
Well, how long have you been in?
I've owned the store over 30 years now.
Yeah.
I've been doing the store's been there for over 40, and I learned the trade on 4th Street.
Well, what's interesting is some years back, I was going to get a piece of jewelry praised, and I had just happened to be in the Northgate Mall, and there happened to be a jeweler there, and I think it was somewhat of a name known name. There we go. And I was going to leave it with them, but the salesman kind of was very nervous,
Yeah.
and he even he sort of hinted to me, yeah, you may want to just come back on Monday. And I'm going, oh, okay. And they were out of business over the weekend. And I wanted to come and actually thank him for dissuading me from leaving it there.
Wow.
But I'm thinking, gosh, what would I do? I just have a piece of paper that just says
Right.
he's got my jewelry, right? But
Right.
you know, I saw Rick over the weekend, and I know he's been around for a really long time because we played softball together
You
many,
did?
many
So you
years
grew
ago.
up in San Rafael, right?
Yeah.
You grow up in
Of course,
San Rafael?
he was the competition. We always played against each other.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
So wait, San Rafael High or Terra Linda?
No, this was when we were still adults, though.
Oh, adults.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
there
know,
was a Sunday
exactly.
morning league at McGinnis,
Oh,
and his brother had a team, and
That's it.
he was on the team, and with great rivalry.
Very big rivalry. Sometimes we won, and sometimes they killed us. They killed us. I never forgave you for that. No. So anyway, so you know, in leaving my piece of jewelry with Rick over the weekend, I felt he's going to be there.
Exactly.
I don't have to worry about it.
There's such a good comfort being in that store. We've never met before. It's not a plug, but that's the go-to place.
Yeah. And just the fact of just finding an honest jeweler. It's like finding, you know, an honest salesman for cars. I'm not trying to.
Or a realtor.
Right.
Or realtor, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really you're kind of investing in the people.
Yeah.
We live in the community.
Yeah.
So when I go somewhere, it's nice to know someone that you've never met knows of your store and
Yeah.
says the most wonderful things. You're like, wow, I'm
Yeah.
glad people appreciate what we do because we try so hard to do everything so right, so perfect the first time.
And
Yeah.
bad news travels much faster
Oh,
than
yeah.
good news.
It's
So
apparently
it's-
7 times faster.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, look at just the newspaper, right? They say if it bleeds, it leads.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, nobody really wants to know about, oh, someone's cat got saved from a tree, but
Yeah.
you know, the tree fell over and killed the cat. Everyone's interested in it. You know, yeah, people. Let's see. So, Rick, again, why don't you give out your information to the audience in case they, again, Christmas time is coming up. What better place to go than Joel Goldworth Jewelers to, you know, buy a little piece of jewelry for your loved one, right?
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're at 831 4th Street in downtown San Rafael at 4th and Seahouse. You can call the store at 415-457-2101, or you can email me personally at rick@goldrushjewelers.com.
Very easy to remember. Okay, so before we cut to our next commercial break here, the Transcendence Theater. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them, but they've done performances like Broadway shows at the Marin Civic Center, and this time they're at Luther Burbank, and
Wow.
they are, I'd say, at least as good as Broadway because I've seen both. I've seen Broadway and I've seen these
Great.
guys, and these guys actually have a lot of people who have performed on Broadway.
Wow.
And it's always a really good show. In fact, my mother-in-law was a kind of a famous ballerina in New York, big time. And even she said, you know, these guys are good.
Wow.
And if she said that they're good, you know
know
they're good. So check them out, Transcendence Theater. They're doing some performances. I think it's November 30th through the December 2nd, up at the Luther Burbank in Santa Rosa. Get in touch with them. I'm sure they'll give you a good show. All right, here's our second trivia question. What band's first top 10 hit in the U.S. was 1984's, the name of the song is called Legs. 1984, okay? What band's first top 10 hit in the U.S., I thought they were a U.S. band, I guess they're not, was 1984's Legs. So again, that's you got to name the band. Come
Why not
on,
74? I
on.
know that more.
I know. So would I. The only reason I happen to know this song.
Yeah.
She's got legs. You know.
She's got a love.
There you go. Okay, so you know the song now. Who
was it?
Now the band. Don't say it. Don't say it yet. Okay.
I can't.
Call 888-912-1190. If you're the first caller with the correct answer, you're going to win that tanning certificate. Don't touch that dial. The best of the best will be right back.
I'm singing it.
Yeah,
It's going to be an
sing it.
earworm for the next 24 hours.
There you go. See, you know it.
What the hell?
See, this is exactly why I try to ask these kinds of trivia questions.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people channel surfing. I want them to hear the commercials throughout the show,
Right.
like if you had a commercial on the show, and I want them to go, oh, what is that? And then they won't channel surf because they're afraid if they come
Right.
back, they'll go miss. Oh wait, what was the? Yeah,
That's great.
Wow.
You did a good job. And stick around because you may want to ask Patty some questions too.
Learn something.
In fact, your email question is.
I can talk a little bit about what's going on with, how much, how things are up year over year, where we're at. Like sales are way down, prices are up.
Okay.
Strange. Like we have hit it in terms of the market has officially changed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Officially what?
I changed. It's different. Everyone now is saying it. I've been saying it for like.
Well, the
2
paper
years.
showed that the Chronicle had a list of every county down 7, 8, 9%.
Yeah, it's definitely changed. The question we have for you is, how much competition do you think the internet is for you?
I'm not sure what competition. It really works
Then-
for us.
Okay, then that's the answer.
Wait, how much competition? No, competition. Internet's our friend.
Okay, then
Yeah.
there you go.
Because what are they going to do with this?
Yeah,
Like they know more and more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Education, knowledge is education.
Mhm. Power is knowledge.
Oh, there, that's
Yeah,
what I'm thinking of.
Knowledge is power.
I got too many things on my mind, I'll tell you.
Naughty professor. I have always said that.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with my favorite co-host, Patty Cohen of Pacific Union Realty. Thanks again, Rick Lewis of Gold Rush Jewelers, for joining us and educating us about jewelry and diamonds and all that fun stuff. All right, here's our second trivia question. What band's first top 10 hit in the U.S. was 1984's Legs? Sing it, Patty.
I can sing it, but I can't tell you who it was.
ZZ Top.
ZZ Top.
There you go.
Of
See?
course. And now I'm getting the visual of that and the legs and
That's
the
it.
heels.
Oh, you remember the video?
Yeah, I guess I do.
Oh, there you
I got the
go.
whole visual of those legs.
You were the model for that one.
That's right. As a matter of fact.
Yeah. All right, so Mark Hoff and Nam Phan are not here today, but I'm going to answer a trivia question, or not trivia, an email question that came in from Mark. It says, why would banks refer business to you? Because in the past, Mark's mentioned that banks have referred, as well as realtors and mortgage brokers, that, aren't you in competition with them? Because in theory, Pacific Private Money, they lend money to people buying real estate. So, that, in theory, you would think that the banks would be competition.
It does feel like it, but I know it's not. And
But
you
it's
can
not.
trust that.
Yeah, so the answer is no, it's not competition. In fact, they actually do refer business. And the reason is because a lot of times banks won't be able to work fast enough on a deal, or there might be something that's just a little outside their niche. And they don't want to just tell the borrower, sorry, get out of my office, you don't qualify. It's, I may not be able to help you, but there's a company that probably can help you. And then what will happen is the bank will look good in front of the client because they didn't just say no, they referred them out. And then after Pacific Private Money looks at the deal, if they can fund it, they will. But then they only do short-term loans. So it gets referred back to the bank when the bank has more time or the person's credit score got up just enough to qualify for the bank. So banks are the friends.
Very much so. And that goes for mortgage brokers too. For 30
Yes.
years, I've been dealing with mortgage brokers, and it makes them look so good
Mhm.
when they're able to have another solution, even though they're not making one penny on it.
Exactly.
Bring them over that way, and they will come back. Yeah.
Because the same thing. So the mortgage brokers, the same thing. They try to go through conventional lenders. They would have a wide, vast, be it Chase or Wells Fargo or whoever might be the best at the time. But if they can't fund the loan, you call
Yeah.
Pacific Private Money at 415-883-2150 or go to pacificprivatemoney.com, and then they potentially they're not always going to say yes. In fact, they say no more times.
They say
than
no
yes.
more. Yeah.
But they do act very quickly because they act just like a bank.
Mhm. Oh, and they're so much faster than a bank.
Oh yeah, I mean they've done a loan in as fast as 72 hours.
Yeah.
But that's a little challenging because you have to have an entire file. Usually it takes about 10 days,
Mhm.
but still 10 days.
Very responsive.
That's very
Very.
exactly. Especially if you're trying to put an offer in on a house.
You get very nervous trying to get all those things lined up, and
Oh yeah,
someone do that so wonderfully well so fast
Yeah.
is a relief on your mind.
it is. I mean, how many times do people put in offers with a loan contingency or they say, well, they got rid of the loan contingency, but you try to ask your typical bank, are you really, really sure that you're going to make this loan? Well, yeah, we're pretty sure we're going to get it done in time. And it's like, well, I can't have pretty sure. I have to get
Oh, yeah.
definite.
And I've had situations where the buyer removed loan approval,
Yeah.
and it was through a broker. The broker just didn't know what they were doing.
Yep.
Like we asked what happened, and literally they said the underwriter's being a butthole. I'm like, that really doesn't work.
Yeah,
I did not pick this guy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
yeah,
the point is, now the buyer's deposit's at stake, and we're
Yeah.
talking like $30,000,
Yeah.
$60,000 on a $2 million home.
Yeah.
So you got to scramble, really scramble.
Yeah, so that's why a lot of times Pacific Private Money comes right in handy. Now, the catch is they're going to charge more than a typical bank. But again, would you rather lose your $30,000 deposit or have to pay an extra $5 or $10 grand, in fees that you might not have had to pay. But they get the deal done, and then you just refinance them out because there's no prepayment penalty on that with your regular bank when you can relax, have more time, and all that. And then on the flip side, people say, well, gosh, how do I get in that business? Well, you can participate with them by investing in their fund, where it's like a mutual fund, where they have 100 different loans in the portfolio, and they're paying right now about close to 7.5%. Rates tick down a little bit in the fund, but 7.5% in a fund that's fairly liquid. And your principal doesn't fluctuate like a
better than the bank.
Better
You're lucky to get 1 or 2%.
Yeah, exactly. So very, very happy clients. In fact, you and I are clients, and we're quite happy with them.
Yeah,
so.
I was reluctant, not that there was any pressure, but I've been on the show for a few years, and I didn't really respond. And then I thought, I'm trying this out. Like, this totally makes sense. I'm in the business, and then I gave more.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've done too. So the fund started with practically nothing, and now it's got about 44 million in it. So
wow,
it's
great results.
Yeah, exactly. And so 15. Let's see. The company, as a company, I think they've done 1,500 loans, $500 million worth, 0 losses.
Wow.
Because again, they say no more times than like 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
So you got to have some.
So like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very conservative underwriting and all that. So, Patty, we have an email question for you because you are the realtor of Marin County. How much competition do you think the internet is for you?
The internet is our friend. And I remember when there was nothing on the web that you couldn't find. If you needed information like how much is that house when you saw a sign, or you saw an ad and you wanted to know what's the address, you'd have to call a realtor and get grilled. And now everything's available, including when the seller bought it, how much they bought it for. You can so many sites, and everybody knows the sites. You can just find out what the value is. A lot of times it's wrong.
And you can't just buy a house over the internet.
Exactly. It's kind of like WebMD. Like,
Oh yeah.
They don't do surgery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good
They don't prescribe medicine.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot,
Yeah.
but you ultimately have to go to a professional to get the job done.
And an informed buyer is a much better buyer than just a typical looky-loo.
Exactly. Yeah. And like WebMD, you could be informed, but it's not always correct either.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So the internet's really our friend.
Okay, good. We're going to cut to another commercial break. When we come back, I want you to get into what's going on in real estate because you have all the good information. All right, what flavor was the Twinkies original filling? We covered the whole gamut. We covered the Bible, we covered music, and now we're into Twinkies. What flavor was the Twinkies original filling? Right? What is it now? It's like a kind of a cream.
Vanilla cream, isn't it?
White sugar.
Something like
It's not even a flavor.
It's good.
It's just white.
I just know it's good. Okay, so that's our trivia question. Call 888-912-1190. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. And the reason I do this is because the station wants me to give them about 4 or 5 seconds of silence beforehand so that they can melt it together.
Oh,
that's my favorite thing.
Yeah. That you're getting a little fancy with us.
Is that big plans for Thanksgiving?
Carmel. Going down to Carmel.
What? Oh, when are you leaving?
Just getting down to the ocean Wednesday morning.
Wednesday morning?
Yeah, coming back Friday. A little different this year.
Do you know that broker named Steve Vella?
Yeah, he's been around a long time too. Mortgage broker. Is he still around?
He played softball with us against this guy.
So he was against him.
Yeah. For a long time.
Is he still around?
Yeah, he worked for Bay Equity. Been there 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
And he worked for Washington Mutual. I think he worked for Wells Fargo. And one time I went to have him do me a loan. He says, no, I can't do it. But go see so-and-so over at Bank of America.
Yeah.
Because they can do what I can't right now because of all the different stuff.
Goes a long way.
Steve's great.
Uh-huh.
He did the building for me on 4th Street.
Oh, okay. You own that
no one
building?
else can. I own that building. No one could. I had a broker, same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no problem. You're pre-qualified.
It's the name of the game, no problem.
No one can do it. Steve got it done.
Yeah, he's good. He's been around forever. So
He's very good at what he does.
We all know each other, but we don't. So we've never crossed paths. I don't know why. Yeah, he'd be on the other side of the deal or not. But anyway, yep, he's got a good reputation.
You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing one more time. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen and our special guest, Rick Lewis of Gold Rush Jewelers. Third trivia question. What flavor was the original Twinkie filling?
Never knew there was a never one before.
I know. I didn't either.
I didn't even know that was a flavor.
And I'm
It's
glad
just
they changed
sugar.
it.
White sugar.
Banana.
Oh, banana.
Banana?
I was thinking, man, banana filling, that's not...
What year was that?
Yeah.
I like 15, 20? No,
Yeah,
I
It has to be.
No, actually, I don't know. I have to look that up. I just know that's...
I remember as a kid, and I'm no youngster,
Yeah.
it's always been
always
vanilla.
been- Yeah, I know.
And it's all chemicals. But back in the day, I was going to say there's probably like not even a bit of real banana in there. But back in the day, there probably
Probably, yeah.
was
Maybe.
because there wasn't so many chemicals.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I remember, my old roommate would tease me about eating like ho-hos and stuff because I used to love
Oh, they're
them.
great.
Oh, yeah. It says, Edward, don't you realize that has like a shelf life of 200 years ago? Yeah. How else am I going to live to be 200 years old? Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, Patty, you are the extraordinaire agent, real estate agent, Elton Marin.
I think so.
You're always quoted in the paper, which is a good sign. And why don't you tell us and the audience what is going on in real estate? Things seem to be changing a little bit.
Yeah, things are changing, and I've been talking about it a long time, but now it's the facts are there, like it really has changed. So, for example, the number of sales is way, way down, and prices are still up, but not year over year, but not to the extent that they were. So, for example, in the Bay Area, prices rose. Oh, it's like statewide prices rose 4.7% year over year.
Okay.
In the Bay Area, prices were up.
Like 10%.
Yes, 7.9.
Oh, 7.9.
But get this: the number of sales were down 17.2%. And in the Bay Area, it was 19%.
Now, so what does that mean? That prices, people were just out?
No, like less people buying. So now we still always have in the Bay Area, we have a shortage of inventory, but the amount of inventory has gone up. Yeah.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is that's what happens. So all of a sudden now we're seeing price reductions, we're seeing more inventory, and that's kind of the beginning of this tabletop market.
Okay, you're not seeing the multiple offers.
We're still seeing that.
Still
That's
seeing
like
it,
that schizophrenic market where things are changing.
Okay.
But 2019 is going to be the real test
Okay.
because sellers still want to price it based on 2017 levels.
Yeah.
And buyers are holding back.
How much of this has to do with interest rates starting to go up?
A lot of it has to do with interest rates, and a lot of it, but it's mostly an affordability issue.
Yeah.
So when interest rates goes up, it's affordability even more. So prices go up to a level where a very small percentage can afford it based on 20% down on the average income. But then when interest rates go up, that's compounded even more. So this is, we're in a tabletop market probably for the next maybe 5 to 6 years, because we know in the Bay Area, and we've all been around for a long time, there's waves, there's gentle waves of 5 to 6 years.
Now, when you say tabletop, are you saying basically, I'm going to guess and tell me if I'm right, that we're sort of cresting, not necessarily going down, but just kind of staying somewhat flat?
Yeah, if you think about a table, we're at the top of the leg. It's going to be flat for a long time.
Okay.
And, for example, nationwide, the number of $1 million markets have doubled since 2012.
Wow.
That's all over the.
Yeah, it's amazing when I've looked at even at Zillow, how
Right.
be they good or bad, when you just look at neighborhoods and it's like everything's over $1 million. I mean, it's hard to.
Oh yeah.
It's a starting point.
Yeah, it really is. Now the thing is, a lot of people's wages have gone up substantially, so they can't afford. But I mean, think about it. You gotta have 20%. But how often do you need to put 20% down? Because that's $200,000. I don't know how many people are walking around with $200,000.
That's the problem, because wages have gone up. But think about this. It only went up in the Bay Area. Well, statewide, it went up year over year, which was the smallest. What did I say? 4.7%. But again, in the Bay Area, it's the least amount that it's gone up in years, and it's 7.9%.
But how many loan. I mean, you can get some loans that are at FHA, right, where they only have to put down 3%.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't really matter because the limit of the loan amount is, I think it's $675,000.
What about the jumbo though?
Not much more.
Okay.
I don't remember what that is.
So if
But
someone
it
needs
doesn't even really apply.
$900,000, they're going to be having to put down 20%.
Yeah, I mean, but if you think about the average, for example, in Marin County, the average average price was $1.7 million last week when I did the numbers and gave them to the IJ. So it really doesn't matter about FHA. You say you don't have to, you can't put so much down because it's $800,000 or $900,000.
Yeah.
So think about it. Yeah, what wages have gone up, but if prices are going up year over year, 10, 11, 12%, and the smallest amount last year was 8%, then wages haven't done that.
No, that's true. I mean, even $1 million, 8% is 80,000.
The stock market has not gone up enough lately.
Yeah.
For people to get that comfort level, put money into it.
Right.
Yeah. In fact, I didn't check recently, but the market actually from January till today has been down or down a little bit.
It went down.
Not so good.
Not so good. Yeah, so where do you go? I mean, a lot of times when the stock market's not doing well, people go into real estate, but it's a funny kind of thing to see how it's going to go down.
Yeah, because a lot of times they, when one thing goes down, they kind of brings everything with it. People just say, just stay in cash because you're concerned you don't want to invest in real estate and have that go down also, especially if interest rates are going to go up.
Yeah, which they will. It's predicted that by mid 2019 it'll be 5.5%.
I wonder if the government is going to say, well, gosh, we don't want to choke the economy. It's not like, everything's so good that we can go ahead just raise interest rates. It's really strange. That some parts of the economy are doing well, but other parts have been just kind of fairly stagnant.
Exactly.
They always talk about trying to keep inflation under control for raising the rates to slow things down and not make them crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, well, you don't want deflation.
Yeah,
that would be
a disaster.
Yeah. It's better to have a little bit of inflation.
Yes, and then there's so many wild cards too, like the tariffs and what's Trump going to do and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, going back to Rick here being a jeweler, what have you seen in the jewelry or in the diamonds? I mean, it used to be $1,000 a carat and then $2,000 a carat, and I know it depends obviously on the quality, clarity, and all that stuff.
Diamond prices actually have flat or gone down in the last 5-10 years.
Really?
For a variety of reasons, yes. Worldwide demand going down, people using alternative stones, some synthetic product coming on the market.
Yeah.
So it's not helped the Oppenheimer family, which is De Beers, market what they're doing.
Wow.
Yeah,
interesting.
wow.
Yeah. And you are definitely not a recession-proof business.
No, but people always need things fixed.
Fixed, for sure.
So it's a service business, which is the internet. You can't get service on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be a little nervous sending my stuff out to China to get fixed and have it come back.
Good luck with that.
In fact, they didn't even send me zirconium. They just sent me a Coke bottle. Glass, see what you can do with this. All right. We're going to cut to our last commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have some closing comments. Also, hornblower, if you missed the Thanksgiving cruise, look to do them in Christmas. All right?
Oh, good idea.
We'll be right back. All right.
I could talk just a
What's
minute
the effect
or two
of
on Compass and
the
what
new,
that means.
Oh, that's right. Please.
Yeah.
the new tax policy?
It really hasn't made much difference.
Really?
So surprising.
Because, I remember it just doesn't, because people don't really change their behavior because it's residential real estate.
But it helps you qualify, and you're looking at part of the equation. You're so tight. I can't deduct all my property taxes anymore.
Yeah.
I can't.
True.
It was before unlimited. Then it was $1 million. Now it's $750.
Yeah.
So how much deductible?
Yeah.
There were all those homeowner benefits you don't get.
Yeah.
So if you lose $250,000 of deduction times your tax bracket.
Yeah.
So that's part of the qualification. Right. Yeah. My income.
And then it's the same thing with the real estate taxes.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing. Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So you want to stay like property tax in my house, $7,500. If I want to get a bigger house or move to a different neighborhood, it's going to triple.
Mm-hmm.
And I get no tax benefit out of it.
Yeah.
No, that
remains to be seen how that's going to go down too. I don't know yet, but it doesn't seem to be an issue for people. I mean, because at that point, there's a certain level where they don't care. They want a nice house.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a different
Yeah.
kind of buyer. That's not the
Well,
people.
those are the buyers that it affects the most. You know what I mean? They
Yeah.
like the $1 million plus buyers.
Yeah.
Oh, not $1 million plus, but like a $2, $3, $4 million house. It's kind of like, oh well,
Yeah.
my ego wants that house. I want that house. My wife wants that house. You know,
That's the thing
whatever.
when they just raise the tax brackets, right? Same sort of thing. You just
Yeah.
go, well, I just got to deal with it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
More pain.
All right, ready? Here we go. We got 4 minutes to go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen and our special guest, Rick Lewis of the Gold Rush Jewelers. Didn't have a trivia question. We already asked those. Did want to make a quick mention here also for Mountain Mike's Pizza in San Rafael. Good pizza, the way it ought to be.
Yeah.
All right, check them out. Patty, the little change going on with the company you're associated with.
Yes, and I do believe it's going to change the whole dynamics of how real estate is done in the country.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And it'll take a little bit of time, but it's going to happen. So Pacific Union, whose market share is about 18% in the Bay Area,
Okay.
has merged with Compass.
Okay.
And a lot of people say,
Who
who?
is Compass? Yeah.
So Compass is very, very well funded. And Compass has a vision of being in the top, have a market share of 20% in the top 20 markets by 2020. And they are on track.
Hmm.
So 20% is usually the largest market share in any market.
Okay.
It's not a rule, but if you think about how many real estate companies there are,
Yeah,
that's
but it's
how
no
it works.
monopoly per se.
Right.
Yeah.
20% is big. And that's the goal. So it's probably going to get more than 20. So what we're going to be doing is having like a lot of coming soon early access pre-MLS stuff.
Okay.
So MLS is still going to be there, but by listing on Compass is going to be the go-to. It sounds like a big vision. I do believe when I looked at the numbers, it's going to be there.
Okay.
So Compass is going to be ultimately the go-to place instead of Zillow. And why is that?
Oh.
Because we're going to control the inventory.
Yeah.
And we're going to have pre-MLS stuff on our site. So buyers get early access. Sellers also get to test the marketability, the pricing of their house, the demand. So we'll put it out there, and ultimately buyers will come and look, and we'll do a lot of trading in-house.
And will you have a lot of factual stuff? Like a lot of times you go on Zillow and say, the tax history, when was the last sale? And that
Yes,
sort of thing. Okay.
that's going to be
Yeah,
happening
because
too.
that's all public record stuff that you can get.
Exactly.
Okay.
And not only of that, he who, like lenders, he who has the gold, he who makes the rules, controls.
He who has the gold makes the rules.
Makes
There
the
we go.
rules. That's where it is.
Yeah.
Exactly. The land where the lender is king. Well, he who has the listings controls the market. So Zillow is not a broker. Zillow doesn't have listings.
Aren't they thinking about getting into that business? Or
I think so. I don't know what their plans are,
Okay.
but this kind of takes that all
Wow.
away. Because if you have 20% market share and you've got the listings and we put them out there before they get anywhere else, we're going to be the go-to of where buyers go first. So we'll also have all that information that they now go to Zillow for.
Interesting. Yeah.
And as a seller, the benefit as a seller is these are where the buyers are going and where they're shopping. So you never want to be a seller that's been on there and shop worn for a long time. That just devalues you.
Well, the
So
interesting
buyers
thing,
can
too,
test it.
Even if you become, too big a fish in the pond, it doesn't really matter because sort of like Amazon, right? Everyone can sell stuff on Amazon. So even if Amazon gets really big, it's not that big a deal, right? I mean, it's not like you're the ones who are saying, if you want to buy this house, you have to pay X. I mean,
Right.
It should be willing buyer, willing seller.
Right,
on
free
that
enterprise
stuff.
system. We do not control the pricing.
Exactly. Well, we got to cut out here today. Patty, how do people get a hold of you if they have questions on real estate?
Well, my name is, again, Patty Cohn, C-O-H-N. I'm based in Marin County. My phone number is 415-722-4842. And I'm at bestmarinagent.com.
And that's because she is the best Marin agent. Again, Rick Lewis, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, here's our thoughts for the day. Always end the day with a positive thought, no matter how hard things were. Tomorrow's a fresh opportunity to make it better. And forget the day's troubles, remember the day's blessings.
Love it.
Isn't that a great after Thanksgiving, pre-Christmas thought?
Totally.
All right. Tune in next week to The Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown, wishing you the best of investing. So long.
Yes,
That's it.
indeed. Awesome.
And that's the show.
Another great one.
Good
And
job,
we need to stay here another 5 minutes or something?
You don't have, I mean, I can.
It's like
Whatever
recess
you want,
in
whatever.
school, like you sit at your desk until class
Well,
is
the
over.
funny thing is, if I can get this at 56 minutes, right now it's only at 45 minutes, then if I can still figure out how to do it in stereo and HD and all that fancy stuff, I can throw it on the TV station, the CMCM. Otherwise, it'll just stay on YouTube. That's okay. See? You see, Jim?
Yeah, it's actually, does it still go? I mean, I used to take it from Facebook and share it on the page. Is it still on Facebook's?
You know, it's
from YouTube.
Yeah. I haven't recorded all the time. When you've seen me do this, I have.
Yeah.
So then you can do it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or I can just get it from YouTube.
Correct.
You can download off YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just haven't paid that much attention.
No, but when I do it on YouTube, I do post it on Facebook on the Best of Investing.
All right.
So you can take it from there.
All right.
That makes sense?
I have to remember to
Called
go
Best of
do that.
Investing too.
Best of
Yes,
Investing.
the Best of Investing.
That's it.
Oh, where's my purse?
And for YouTube, it's Best of Investing Radio Show.
Okay.
Had to change that a little because there's too much. You do Best of Investing, and then all kinds of silly
Yeah.
things show up.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, we're basically a real estate bank.
Yeah, and
Because
what did
we're
I
all
read
about
that
real estate.
Robert Bradley changed?
Oh yeah, he is now. I don't know if he's
Berkshire.
sold to.
Well, that's-
They got divorced and the
Berkshire.
wife wanted to come back in the company. I asked somebody.
Yeah, and I remember that. But
She got back involved in the business. There was no job for him. So he took a bunch of agents with him. I don't know how
Was that
many. I
right?
know one went with him.
Berkshire Hathaway or something.
Berkshire
He
Hathaway.
needed a job.
Yeah.
So a couple guys that he was friendly with left.
And you know what? That company was already decimated because what is a real estate company? It's who
Yeah.
you know. If you have top agents, then you are the best company.
That's it.
So most of the top 4 agents already left.
Which,
Oh, is that
which
right?
company?
Bradley had already
Melissa
long
left
gone. Long
Because
gone.
of the husband?
No, like
ex-husband or
3
just-
or within the 3 or 4
Who
years.
are the best? Who?
Well, I mean, actually, they're both like great close friends of mine, like Samira Solari, Deborah Salveson,
Oh, yeah.
and they left like 3 or 4 years ago. And Eric Gelman,
Oh,
all
yeah.
they had left, he's gone.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, and they have always been known as just they just take anybody. So anybody that
Wow.
like anybody that gets fired from a real estate company,
Just
it's
go-
pretty hard. You're not producing. They go to Bradley because they'll
Hmm.
take anyone. So they just had a lot of bodies. They had like maybe 5% of the people doing 90% of the business.
So the
And
article,
those people are gone. So
Wow.
that company was falling apart anyway. So,
yeah, that's why she took it back over.
well, I don't know why. I mean, I think
Was following
they're low
him.
end.
Got changed management.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, they were never. But let's put it this way:
They did a lot of volume.
if you
right?
look, no,
they
that's
didn't
the whole
really,
point.
really.
They-
Wow.
never had more than a 5% market share.
Is that right? Even if, boy,
Ever.
oh, boy, I can just imagine the cost of all the
All that
advertising.
advertising. And I mean, I can remember 20 years ago, doing in my head, we were just making jokes like, David Letterman's top 10 reasons why Bradley won't be around,
Wow.
and it's not personal.
So,
It's just,
so
you
Compass is not going to buy them out?
no. And I mean, because they have just a drain of agents that don't produce. They advertise. They give the biggest splits to the agents.
Oh, yeah.
How do you stay in business? And they
Yeah.
never had more than 5%. So ego was just driving them in for so long.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
think they ever made much money.
Yeah.
And it was ego. And I'm thinking it's ego. That's my assessment. But I can tell you there's other facts are just pure truth. Like the 5%, biggest splits, so much advertising. And they used to, like, all the people would go there like, I don't know, it was like a cult. You'd go on
Like a rah-rah
baseball
session.
games and tickets
Oh, yeah.
and parties.
Yeah.
It was just a club.
Yeah.
And they'd pick anybody. So, Pacific Union has the smallest amount of agents and the biggest market share,
Wow.
and the highest production per agent, and the highest everything per agent, because they only take the good people, which is better for you, So that's the model that you really need to have. But anyway, so the fact that they left was just like a big deal. However, consumers and the old school people that actually still read newspapers and actually get the IJ versus the Chronicle, and there aren't that many people left.
Yeah.
But those are the people who are like, oh, Bradley's the biggest, they're the best.
That's what it's.
Yeah, they read that small market stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they were pretty active donation-wise in the Terralinda area because they live up there.
Mm-hmm.
See, I remember Don Timmer sold me. You remember those?
I remember Don.
Don Timmer sold me in Fairfax,
Is he right?
and he helped me get in the house I have now.
Wow, where are you now?
That's a long time.
Carolina.
I was in Fairfax, and then Don got a hold of me and said, "Hey, I got someone wants to buy your place. You want to sell?" I said, "Sure. This is what I'm looking for in exchange."
Wow.
That's how I got the house I'm in. I've been there
Wow,
since.
that usually doesn't work that way.
Small world.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't really work
That's
that way.
funny.
That's awesome. I
He
remember.
delivered.
I remember his son got in the business, and
And then
this
Frank-
is a long time ago,
Yeah,
right?
he was great.
And then
30 years ago.
Frank Howard Allen bought them out, right?
I don't remember, to be honest. That's before my time. That's
Really?
before my time. Frank
Wow,
Howard
okay.
Allen. Yeah, I mean, Frank Howard Allen's really old school too.
Yeah.
And they're
They
finally
still
gone.
around?
No, they're gone.
No,
they
they
became
did,
Coldwell Banker.
That's
But
right.
I remember really like speaking of Fairfax, this lady, oh my gosh, she had to be in her 90s. She called me and I answered the phone and I said, sure, I'd love to list your house. And I showed up and the next day I was right out there. And this is probably 15 years ago. And she's like staring me down. And she goes, I said, well, I'm here for the equipment. She goes, I'm expecting a man. Like
Oh.
Frank, Howard, Allen. I was like, oh my
Any one of those
God.
three.
Anybody. I go, well, you got me. And that clearly I didn't get the listing. But
But it's so funny because a
It's
lot of
pretty
times,
sexist.
people associate, real estate with women.
I know women are
Yeah.
really good at this job.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very good. In fact, what the other profession they're very good at is selling insurance.
There you go.
Mm.
It takes
And
a lot
cars.
of patience. You have to juggle a lot.
Yeah.
You have to,
Yeah,
you know,
multitask. But then there's also the stereotype that they're trustworthy.
trustworthy.
Yeah.
And the compassion. You kind of like you
Yeah,
can read.
exactly.
Well, it's scientifically proven. We can read people better.
Yeah.
It just
That's
we
true.
can.
Yeah.
And we also have 40% more corpus callosum, which is the left and right brain tissue.
Oh,
It's really true.
okay.
it's
Yeah,
really true.
I'm not offended by it.
Yeah.
I know.
Which
Listen,
is
a lot
why
of
the
times my
best
wife can
argument
tell
you
things.
ever had in your wife was in your head after the fact. Because that's what I mean by the left and right brain tissue.
Yeah.
Because when they're highly emotional, they're not as effective with the logic
Yeah,
part.
that's
So they're like,
true,
like when you're
Yeah.
14 years old and you want to ask a girl out, you're like, you're
Oh.
incapable.
Gotcha.
And then like women, when we're arguing, we're like so clear, karate chops, direct, and they're like,
Yeah.
because it's 40% less corpus callosum. So like you have the best argument you ever had was in your head later.
Well,
Oh well,
see,
there's my lecture series of the
That's why
day.
you got to read the book "Women Are from Venus, Men Are Wrong."
Yeah.
Bestseller.
Now let me ask you something though. If a tree falls in the forest and there's no man to hear, no woman to hear it,
It's
it's
the
the
man
stand
so
still wrong.
Yes.
I love that one. So
Very
nice to meet
meet
you.
Anything,
Absolutely.
Please let me know.
I will. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, my
Happy
dear.
Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And that Facebook page?
You know what? I will. Just go on. Oh, Best of Investing Radio Show.
By this pen.
Yeah, that'll work. We'll let this go for just 3 minutes worth.
Okay.
I used to have. Do you know Kramer Herzog?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kramer used to.
Actually, I do stuff with Kramer because I had him come to the car show last year.
Okay.
It was
He's
great.
really in the car.
Have you seen his video? Have you seen his
Yeah.
half his movie?
I have.
It's great.
Yeah, I
it's
was
great.
in the audience.
And actually, in there, what's the guy's name?
Bob Capurro.
No, the guy with the long beard.
Oh,
Pat.
I don't.
He was the
remember his
pitcher on
name.
our softball team on Wednesday nights at McGinnis, and I
That's
said,
okay.
I haven't seen him. His son played third, was a tree cutter, and Pat was a pitcher, and I forget his name. So I was asking Kramer's, Pat's in your video. He's Pat around. All of a sudden, Pat showed up like about 6 months ago at my store. I hadn't seen him in like 25 plus
Yeah.
years.
Uh-huh.
I had a picture still of that team.
Ah,
When he played, he goes, "Yeah, that's me." But
That's
it's
great.
interesting all the picture, those stories those guys tell.
oh, I bet.
And Kramer, he's wonderful.
He's great. So I've known Kramer, gosh, since the early '90s.
Yeah.
And he would stand there and he would record our show. And then
Really?
he'd put it together because the YouTube is fine, but
Right.
it's not like really, really, really professional.
Right.
And then he would send it to CMCM, so it would
Yeah.
air on Saturday on TV, the government channel, whatever 1026, I think it was, or 99, whatever. Yeah, Comcast
Yeah.
or AT&T or something.
No, he's great. I had him. I gave him a free booth at the car show in front of the movie theater.
Uh-huh.
Whatever he wanted, I thought was a great story.
Oh yeah.
I mean, all of it.
So now, when I think of the car show, I think of one that's in San Rafael.
That's it. I run that.
Do you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I run that.
That's a great thing. I mean, I
Thank
love coming. Just I'm only into cars like so much, but some of these cars are just so cool to look at.
Did you come last year at all? Last year was incredibly wonderful. There was a guy who has a car, has Camaro, about incredible cars.
Yeah.
He calls me up. He's from Santa Cruz. Got this 68, 69 Camaro. He goes, my car's in a movie shoot or something in LA. I'm going to get it trucked up here so I can be for your show Saturday, but I trailer it in. Where can I park this trailer? It's like a 60-foot thing.
Sure.
It's like over the city. They gave us a space for him. And this thing was just as custom as ever seen a Camaro.
I had a
It's a
friend who had a
show car.
68 Camaro. Beautiful. He had not quite custom
We
like
have some
that, but
great
beautiful.
cars.
I had a Z28.
Oh, yeah, I
T-Tops.
remember, yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
So the jewelry business, how I got into it is Greg Burley at the pawn shop.
Oh, okay.
I was a photographer by trade.
Oh, I know that. Okay.
As a kid, I bought cameras from Greg.
Ah.
He got me in the jewelry business. That's how
Oh.
I got because of Greg.
Yeah.
He pushed me that direction. In 1986, we started the car show. It was really he had a 32 Ford Roadster. And I had the skills to put everything together, and he had all the connection because all his friends with the car.
Yeah.
So we started it. So over the years, I've run it, I've not run it, I've run it, I've not run it. About 3 years ago, I took it back over again.
Did you? I mean, that's got to take a lot. We're going to
does.
say goodbye to the camera here. Okay.